IQAC Director, Professor Meena Bhandari, Deans and faculty members of different schools. It is my proud privilege to welcome our Honorable Speaker, Professor S.K. Varshney, Advisor and Head International Cooperation, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. I welcome you, sir. To begin with, I would like to express my gratitude for our mentor and guide, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor C.S. Dubey, an academician and administrator par excellence. Professor C.S. Dubey is a result-oriented leader with over 37 years of experience and demonstrated record in leading and overseeing development towards future of education systems. He has a strong history. So that will also come. As an academic administrator, he worked as Director, Campus of Open and Online Learning, Chairman, School of Open Learning, Director, Institute of Lifelong Learning. He has a vision to raise the ranking of Mangalam University to a world-class university with significant contribution towards society for a sustainable and socially responsible contribution to the world, promoting health, economic growth, and cultural well-being. Sir, I humbly request you to please come over the dais and address our audience.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear? So, good morning to all of you. I will have a short. I just wanted to introduce you myself. I want to introduce Dr. S.K. Varshney. He has actually done PhD at IMPRINT. And that shows, he and his quality. He was a topper from IIT University. They have been trained and they have been trained in Nalas now. Once they were canals and now Nalas now. So we have a long history. So that history of river, how it turns up as a geology, this was his specialization. So generally in geology we do a lot of field work. And the best part of the field work is that the exchange, if you see the exchange programs also, they have a lot of field work on water rivers. In fact, in our geology, when we go, when we have collaborations with data, like in the NSF DST, given by the same institution to me in 2004-5, it was a National Science Foundation, US and Department of Science and Technology program. It's a combined program, basically, so you have to present your project at both the places, especially both at US, to the US, the US group give it to the US, and we give to Indian group, Indian scientific committee, and then they approve it. And finally, we get the money.
Thank you so much, sir. Whether a long discussion or a very brief address like today, it's always very immensely delightful to hear from you. Moving forward, I owe a deep sense of gratitude to Professor Varshney for acceding to our request and taking up time from his busy schedule and share his expertise and knowledge with us. Professor Varshney is head of the International Scientific Cooperation in the Ministry, Department of Science and Technology, joined PSC in 1990, governing body, Indo-German Science and Technology Centre and Indo-US Endowment Fund, member, Board of Directors of a private limited company, Global Innovation and Technology Alliance, is a member of governing councils of the US-India Education Foundation, International Advanced Research Centre for Powder Metallurgy. He is Indian focal point for BRICS Working Group in Science and Technology and OECD Committee on Science and Technology Policy. He is member, Board of Research Studies in the Department of Geology, Aligarh Muslim University. Sir, we are humbled by your gracious presence. Today's lecture on research funding and international cooperation from DSC was of special importance for all of us in the time when university is paving its way on the journey for MANAK accreditation. Sir, I request you to please enlighten us with your expertise and share your experience.
First of all, my namaskar to everyone. Very good morning. I'm so delighted that university like yours is trying to put the best foot forward by trying to acquire high status products, new digital education policies, how best we will do. And probably research is one of those all the research is one of those parameters which could help you in achieving those goals. And today I have been asked to present to you what are the research funding opportunities from Department of Science. So of course there are several departments we will discuss little later, but idea is you should be knowing what are the possibilities. And let me just remind you that we are a country of 1.4 billion people. Nothing comes easy, everything is competitive. Second, most of the time, I have felt a constant question, I have been giving this question regularly. Sir, we come from private university, are we being ill-treated? Please take out that doubt from your mind. Merit, or if I could say scientific merit, is the first criteria of consideration of any field. There are some bars open only to private institutions. Okay, so I think you should make best out of it. So what I will do today,
and also if we could develop new processes, new products to answer the challenges being faced by our society. Nobody else will come to solve our problem. We have to find solutions ourselves. So we need to work on that. And then we are putting a lot of stress on translation, how new research could be converted into products. And for this purpose, we are trying two connects. One connect is academia, labs, industries, startup, and government. If they could work in tandem. So several sector we have identified that, okay, for example, Mohali we are now developing as a pharma town. Okay, so we are developing a cluster that lot of research in that field could be done by the institution in that city. Lot of industries there which can regularly give them questions which they could find answer. And then government should provide support. So lot of, and second connect we are looking is with the society. So whatever we are doing, remember, science must bring a smile on the human face. Whatever we are doing should make our life more easier, more comfortable than yesterday. If we can achieve that, then you will feel a society. And then we are trying to include people from all sectors, and we have got this specific scheme. And then coming to the scientific priority, don't think big. Look all around you, what are the challenges? And these challenges like water, energy, environment, these are just a few I have listed. But challenges are many, and whatever difficulty, whatever challenges our country is facing, they are the scientific priority. You can find answer to any of them. And of course, it's not only the challenges, but newer technology which are emerging. That also we need to adopt. Now, as far as our delivery partners are concerned, we have got 3 delivery partners. So one is Science and Engineering Research Board. This board provides all fellowships, most of the project grants. Technology Development Board is, as I told a little ago, it's kind of bank which support conversion of proven research into products. And in between we have got National Entrepreneurship Board, which is promoting innovation through route of incubations. So lot of opportunities are there. Now, coming what we have to offer to individual researchers, we have something to offer for everyone who has interest in science. And when I say anybody, it means from school students to regular faculty to NGOs to industries to society to let me say people who have superannuated and still interested in science. We have for everything. But again, as I said in the beginning, this is all competitive based on scientific merit. So I'll start from the younger level, the school students, just to make you a feel. So one of the most popular scheme is Kishore Vaigyanik Protsahan Yojana, which is offered to students who have written at least board examinations. So whether 10th examination or 12th board examinations. Okay. So those who have written board examinations are encouraged. And this scholarship is not only money, but it is also your ticket for admission to various prestigious institutions. It is considered at par with JEE. So several organizations will ask if you have got a valid JEE/KVPY score. So it is that kind of prestige this fellowship has earned. And then we have got INSPIRE. I think many of you might be aware. This is a merit-based this thing, and we are operating it from class 6. From class 6 to class 10, it is on the basis of scientific project a student can develop. And then in the board examination, we are giving top 1% a consideration who choose to study science in higher class, and thereafter we are considering university toppers. Okay, and we are offering this scheme till even as a postdoc. So 5-year postdoc is also possible. So at all level, there are some restrictions in terms of age. So it should be as early as possible. Now, I'll tell you about school children, how we are offering and how it becomes very interesting. We are asking each school to ask their student that what are the challenges being faced by them and how they would like to solve. And each school can give us only 2 ideas, which means there is a competition right at the school level. Only 2 ideas per school. I don't know how many countries we have, how many schools we have got in this country, but right now under this program, 500,000 schools are registered, which means we start with 1 million ideas. Okay, and those 1 million raw ideas. When I say raw idea, it could be student idea corrected by parents or teachers. Okay, so what happens? We organize first district level competition, and all those ideas goes and compete at district level. Those who qualify district level are provided with a token appreciation money and token project money. Project money means they are asked to convert their idea into a model, and they are also provided an external mentor. Okay, so besides your parents, besides your family, besides your school teachers, you get one external expert in that field who guides that how you can convert your idea into a model. And once that is done, then you are ready to go for state level competition. And once you qualify state level competition, then another kind of appreciation and another grant to convert your idea, to convert your model into a functional model. And once that functional model is done, you come to national level. Now, I will not say that what kind of money we offer to those who come for national, but the biggest prize which we can offer them is a day to be spent with President of India. Full day. Okay, so that's the kind of motivation we are giving to school students. And even though we start with 1 million idea, each year we get 10 to 15 patentable idea from the school students, which shows that patentable idea could be developed at any age, provided you receive a good guidance. There is no limit. Anybody can come up with an idea. Then I think these are something very familiar. You are knowing JRF, SRF, RA. So of course, these are the provisions in the projects being supported by the department, but we are not conducting any examinations. There are agencies like NTA, Atomic Energy, Biotechnology. There are several agencies which are conducting national level examination. What we are looking for is that candidate coming here should have qualified any national level examination. Okay, so these fellowships are available. And then we are also offering Prime Minister fellowships. I think this is very important because when a researcher is working on problems which are of interest to industry, one could apply for this fellowship. Now, of course, Prime Minister fellowships are many. There is one Prime Minister fellowship for IIT. I am not talking about that. I am talking here about fellowship which my department is offering. And this is in partnership with Confederation of Indian Industries. So we are asking researchers to give us ideas which we are giving to CII to float it to their members, and then CII picks each year 100 ideas. And those 100 fellows get double fellowship. So if you are a JRF, double JRF. If you are SRF, double SRF. If you are RA, double RA. So these kind of fellowships are possible. Then many of you who have completed PhD. Oh yes. Then many of you who have done postdoc PhD and are still looking for job and are looking for some immediate placement. Then for them we have got National Postdoctoral Fellowship. Here we have come only with one condition, and that condition is you should look for a newer institution than the one from where you have done PhD. Idea is you have already learned the philosophy, the thought process, the ambience, everything you have absorbed from that particular school, and it is time you to broaden up. Okay, otherwise you will always remain in a well and you will not think beyond that. So this fellowship we are offering as a stopgap arrangement till you get a regular placement. And very often it happens that you go to a newer institution, you prove your worth, and if there is a vacancy, institution could even absorb you. For students who are having any idea which they feel could be commercialized, so even if they are graduate student, master's student or doctoral student, they want to try out if their idea is market worthy, we are offering Nidhi grant. Nidhi stands for National Initiative for Developing and Harnessing Innovation. And idea is that if we could support students to take up his or her own startup, okay, so this could be a kind of seed grant to try out his or her dream. And then we are also asking our students, doctoral and postdoctoral, what research they are doing. Can they communicate it in common man language? So this is just an award. It's not a scheme, just an award, one-time award. But idea is to make you think. Can you communicate what work you are doing in common man language? And you could publish it anywhere, in online portals, in offline print media or electronic media. So wherever you can do it, and we are giving this awards. And then this scheme is for institution like yours. It's called TARE, Teacher Associate for Research Excellence. Several times you will have a research question, but then you will not have equipment through which you could try to find answer to your research questions. So you know where that equipment is, where you could go. So we are encouraging, especially institutions like yours, that if your faculty would like to work in any national institutions, of course you need to have an acceptance from them first, because you will give them research idea. This is what I would like to work upon. I would like to use such and such facilities, and they have to accept it. But if they accept, up to 3 months in a year. Now 3 months we have done very calculatively, depending upon your summer break, winter break. In a year you can do, and then we are giving you 5 lakh research grant. Okay, so this is very good thing until you have research facility in your own institutions. Then for mid-career researcher, we have brought in Swarna Jayanti Fellowship. This of course we started when India got 50th year of independence. Now we are of course celebrating Diamond Jubilee. So there is a debate if we should rename it. But this is primarily to those mid-career fellows who have done some good research in their respective domain and would like to go forward. Then we are also inviting fellowships, fellowship by invitation. And first fellowship, Ramanujan Fellowship, is for institutions actually. Because the management of your institution would find several fellows, several postdocs abroad who would like to return to India. And they are looking for some immediate placement when they arrive here. So Ramanujan Fellowship is for immediate assignment, and this is for a period of up to 5 years. I think 5 years is a good period when they can prove themselves and come and work here. And we are giving them some settlement money. And then J.C. Bose National Fellowship is a very, very prestigious fellowship which is given by nomination. And you should be an excellent worker in your field, recognized by your own peers. And what we are offering, 25,000 rupees, is in addition to your normal salary. So nothing to do with your salary. So we are offering additional honorarium of 25,000 rupees plus research grants. And then those of you who have completed at least 3 SERB projects with excellent rating, we are considering them for an automatic new projects. Okay, so without your applying, you could get a new project. Then coming to overseas opportunities, we are taking Indian students, Indian researchers for meeting with Nobel laureate in Lindau, Germany. And this is cyclic in nature, 1 year physics, 1 year chemistry, 1 year biology and medicine. And accordingly, we are inviting applications through newspapers, and we are targeting masters and early doctoral students for these fellowships. Online with Lindau, we are having Asian Science Camp. Now, Asia, of course, does not have so many Nobel laureates, so we are taking Asian science luminaries, organizing meeting with students, and these students are class 12 and undergraduate students. This is happening in different places. In fact, Bangalore hosted it just before COVID in 2019. So this year it would be in Korea. And we are inviting only KVPY and Inspire awardee for this. So we are not making open advertisement, but we are just taking them. And then number of bilateral projects, which I'll discuss little later. They also provide opportunity to young research scholars to go and work in partner laboratories. And then we have started PhD placement or overseas visiting doctoral fellowship with limited countries, not with all countries, with whom we have reached some understanding, because doctoral students, when they visit, several institutions would like to charge them in terms of bench fee, in terms of equipment fee. So we have reached agreement with UK, Japan, and some of the US laboratories where our students could go. And idea is that we may provide them 3 to 6 month exposure. And our preferred category is third year doctoral students. Idea is that in first 2 years, the fellow would understand what is the questions, what is the approach road, what are the things he is going to do, and maybe mid-course also he gets some new questions. And we are not considering 4th year and 5th year for the reason because that time the stress is more on submission. Okay, so we have decided that we will be taking third year student, and depending, and this there should not be much deviation from the work you are doing. So while you are being exposed to an overseas facilities, you should remain focused to your overall PhD goal. And then, just like that, we are having another program for mid-career researchers for a 3 to 6 month exposure in a laboratory outside. Okay, so faculty like you could apply for such fellowships. And then we are member of a group called GROW, through which we can provide some internship opportunities. So we are receiving also a lot of interns. Now, for those of you like you who are employed, they could take startup research grant. This was earlier known as Young Scientist Scheme. Okay, and idea is that if you have not written any independent project so far, this is the time after being absorbed in a system, you could go and submit projects. And just like startup research, okay, I'll come to this little later. Just like startup research grant, we have got core research grant, which is open to everybody. And this is the most popular program of SERB or DST. So people could submit research projects in any theme they feel appropriate. But one thing you must remember, what are we looking at? First thing is what you are proposing to do. Are you aware that what is the scientific novelty in that project? Because if you have established that novelty factor, then you will feel confident. Our referees, if they don't find novelty, so main thing is you should know what are the research themes you are focusing on, what is the gap areas you should identify, and where you are going to work. So you should know what is happening in that field nationally, what is happening in that field internationally, and this is something which is required to be done, or newer approaches. Second thing is work plan. It should be logical. Okay, that's the only thing they are looking for. Third thing is capabilities of the coordinator. This is very, very important. Because when our referees read your proposal, you are not there. So you can't talk to them, you can't argue with them. And they would like to see what kind of work you have been doing in the past, which is reflected by your publications, patents, those kind of things. Your previous record tells us what are the fields you are good at, what is the kind of work, like if you are publishing in high impact journal, low impact journal, conference papers. So accordingly we can make what kind of worker you are. So if you are publishing in index journals, we know yes you are that much. If you are publishing in high impact journal, you establish yourself as a worker. If you are publishing in a predatory journal, unknown journals, or in conference, remember, conference papers are just for your satisfaction. As a funding agency, they give least respect to those papers. Okay? Then it also helps us about the kind of migration from field 1 to field 2. It should be gradual. You cannot jump. If you are working, say, in biology, then suddenly you jump into mathematics. Okay, you need to establish your route. And this is where partnership or collaboration help. If you are jumping, if you are entering into newer domain, it is always good to have initially at least one project in collaboration. Because collaboration also helps if you are not a very established worker. So several times what happens, young faculty feels that we have been denied a chance because our publication record was not good. So you should collaborate with the established worker, because then we'll see your joint strength. And that would help you in gaining the projects. And once you have got a project, you have got better publications, then next time you can come as an independent researcher. Then we are not comparing apple with oranges. So we give value that where are you placed? What are the environment where you are working? And then on our side, we are equally interested that what are you expecting at the end of the day? Is it only knowledge generation? Is it development of some new technologies, some new processes? Or you are targeting a product? And if you are targeting a product, are you comparing it with available products in the market? How your product is going to be? Is it more easy to use? Is it more affordable? Is it... So you need to compare it with those kind of things. And then what are the supports you are looking for? Of course, I must stress, finances do not decide the fate of project. Projects is decided on scientific merit. But you need to be realistic when you are asking for the funds. You should know what is required to meet the objectives given in your project. And then we are encouraging that you must associate some youngsters. They could be a doctoral student, postdoctoral student, if not younger faculty, into the projects. And then we are also offering another scheme, which is that if you feel that your science is of direct relevance to the society, suppose you are going to develop tools for our elderly people, for handicapped people, for you are trying to define a better drainage plan for a village. Suppose you are going to decide a better energy solution for a remote village which is not connected with the main grid. So if you are doing any of those projects of direct social relevance based on your strength, then also we can support these projects. Then imprints, I am just skipping because this is not for the private institutions. The main scheme is improvement of scientific infrastructures. Here we are not taking proposal from individual scientists. We are taking proposals either from the department of a university or from a college. And idea is that department or college collectively should come that what are the research goals in next 10 years and what kind of scientific infrastructure you would require. And we could support at level 0 up to 1.5 crores and go up to 20 crores. This is all gradual, and after each scheme there is some pause. Like after once you start with level 0, we would like to see how you are performing at level 0. If it is satisfactory, then we would like to go you for the next level. And then there are some special provision if your H index is high. So not of H of the individual, but H factor of the department or of the college. So if that is reasonable high, we can also consider such supports. And then we are supporting promotion of Innovation and Entrepreneurship Centre in each engineering school or wherever it is feasible. And idea is that you should encourage your students to create their own startups. And if it requires, incubate them, take them to next level so that they become an individual company by themselves. Only restriction is DST is supporting only technology based startups, not all, but only technology based. And then we are also offering institutions fellowships to bring foreigners to work in Indian laboratory. Here idea is that very often our faculty may not get chance to visit all parts of the world. But if researchers comes with their problem, you have a tacit exposure of that area, that challenges in those areas and how you could work. So we provide CV Raman fellowships. This is to African researchers. Around 2,000 scholarships we are offering each year. And don't feel it's a big number, it's a small number, because 2,000 divided into several subjects and several layers. We are providing opportunity at master level, doctoral level, postdoctoral level, faculty level. So, and then India S&T Fellowship we are offering to countries of our immediate neighborhood except northern and western neighbor. ASEAN Fellowship we are offering to country in ASEAN region like Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, those countries. And these 3 fellowships are for a period of a month to a year. They could come here, work here, and remember, they become your ambassador. Once they come, anyone come here, go back, and in their respective country, they would achieve very high positions, and they become your ambassador. They'll say, I had gone there to that place, research environment is good, living condition is good, and you will enjoy learning. And then we are also providing PhD support for African researchers. Now, once again, this scheme is not for private institutions, but idea here is that we could attract best of the global faculty. Now, whatever I said so far, that was open, and you could choose any field of research you feel like. But then there are programs where government would like you to concentrate. So, for example, climate change is something, not only change of weather, but how it changes our life. What are the stress level on the plants? How the agriculture would be affected? How animals would respond to the change in weather pattern? And how our economy would be derived with those changed parameters. So there are a lot of issues in the climate research which we have considered. Similarly, I think each one of you is now aware about the carbon footprints, and we are considering that what are the carbon signatures we are doing when we are doing any exercise, we are flying, we are taking a train or driving to our home. We have to become conscious. Then India is energy deficient country. We are trying various solutions. Right now, we are putting a lot of focus on solar energy. It does not mean that we are not putting focus on other energy sources, but solar energy, because India receives very good quality of sun, and we have joined International Solar Alliance also for that same purpose. And we are doing a lot. Now, this is an evolving area. Earlier, people were talking about the solar panel, what kind of chips it could be, how we could improve the efficiency of power collections, power retention, and then distributions. A lot of other things are coming. Then there are a lot of challenges in the water area. So even each area, DST has identified more than 27 water challenges which are on our websites, and you could see and parts if you could find solution to any of those challenges in any area. Then cyber physical system is a continuous dialogue between man and machine, and how we can improve it. So use of big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cyber security, and how those could be applied to various challenges like transport, water, irrigations, whatever you say, we could apply healthcare. Then we are working on national supercomputing mission, nanoscience and technology, indigenous development of equipment. So there are a lot of challenges we are having. So if any of you could attract, competition here is little less than the open scheme. Competition is there. Nothing is worked through. And then we have got women-specific program called Kiran, and these are primarily into three factors: WOS A, B, and C. A is for those ladies who have got break in career. Now, break could be for any reason, so let us not worry about that reason. But if there is a break of minimum 3 years, then you are eligible. And here we are considering even those researchers who have just done masters. So if you have done PhD, fantastic. If you have not done PhD, you have done master, even then you can. And we are looking for research projects in basic and applied science. Or you could work in an area where our society is facing challenge. And then if you would like to become a professional, so new field what we have developed recently is IPR training to our ladies under this program, so that they could become independent professionals. On the line of this, we have also come up with another program. I'm not sure if I have a slide for that. That is SERB-Power. Now, SERB-Power does not demand any break in career. So it is a scheme for the women researchers just to bring in gender equality in science. And we are offering it in two ways: fellowships and projects. So depending upon what you would like to have. And then we are offering Women Excellence Award. So if a woman researcher is getting elected to any of the National Academy, then she could be considered for Women Excellence Award. And then I think I made a mention about it earlier also. We are looking for how science could help the society, how we could design and develop cost-effective and affordable solutions to different disadvantaged groups of the society, and how we could work with artisans, how we could bring in new technology in their professions. So that is a program which we have launched. Communication also, I mentioned that a lot of translation into common man language, that is the prime goal. But then we are also encouraging development of audio video program or print media, if you could explain basic facts, like I have given some example here, celestial event or sanitation and hygiene, weather and climate change, natural disasters, health. So any of them, if you could explain to the society. And important is that we are also having this Vigyan Sancharak Fellowship. So it is something like GRF if you are in that domain. And then if you are trying to work with industry, and industry is willing to fund your research, equal amount of fund could be provided by the government. So you take problem from the industry, you work on its solutions, and it could be partially funded by industry and partially by the government. And then we have got a program for the weaker section of the society, and here there are two things. One, applicant could be from these community, SC, ST, or your research could be of direct benefit to them. For example, in this region we have got Mewat. So otherwise government has identified what we are calling as aspirational district. So if you are working in those areas, you could be considered for this award. Then we are also providing partial support for organization of various seminars, symposia, and if you are running a professional society. And bilateral workshop could also be considered with our partners. So here, sending side provides the international travel and local side takes care of other expenditure. Then maximum request we receive is for participation in international seminars, symposia, schools, anywhere. So here our standard is, I just wrote not only DST, but several other agencies are providing this support. Now coming to DST, this support is considered partial. We, to the selected fellow, we are only providing international travel plus visa cost, and if the awardee is less than 35, then the registration also. So we are expecting registration will take care of accommodation and food, but otherwise it is partial. So you need to manage the remaining part. So it is only 12 part, and it is once in 3 years. We strongly recommend that if you are a student, at least one paper in a referee general must have been published before you apply. Because you can apply even otherwise, but chances of getting it are more if you have already published a paper. For faculty, we would like to see what is the publication record in last 5 years. Okay. Very often it happens that for same paper, both faculty and student would apply. So we are preferring faculty in that case. We are also organizing Frontier of Science and Engineering with select countries. And here the idea is that we get young pool of researchers, all less than 40, no leaders. And they are talking on interdisciplinary subjects. How they could find interdisciplinary challenges and how they could develop research strategies to find out solutions to those challenges. So this is done both in science and engineering with these three countries. And now coming to my own forte, where I belong to, our International Science and Technology Corporation. So practically, India is working with all countries in the world, and those connections are direct or bilateral, or through a platform like multilateral platform. That multilateral platform could be political or scientific. When I think political, for example, BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, it's a political platform. But then we have an effective scientific program in that politics. And when we are talking about thematic, for example, International Solar Alliance, AIDS initiative, malaria initiative. So there are several thematic also groupings. And we are working with number of countries in a given domain. So if it is thematic, so based on that whosoever has interest in that particular theme, and if it is a political grouping like European Union, BRICS, ASEAN, so we are developing scientific ties within those. And then direct, bilateral. We are also participating in several major scientific projects. When I say major scientific project, these are very, very expensive projects, not which cannot be pursued by one country. So several countries pooling. When I say pooling, it means that each country will bring in their strength and contribute to the project. For example, SIRE in Geneva. I hope everyone is familiar with SIRE. Yeah. So several countries are participating. India is associate member. We have program like 30-meter telescope in Hawaii. We have program like FAIR. There are several programs, and even now India is developing world-class facilities here. So we are going to set up neutrino laboratory. We are going to set up LIGO. So India is going to be a station for LIGO. So these world-class facilities are also coming to India. And the idea is we could provide our researcher an opportunity to work in those projects. The only issue I have is personal issue, not as an official of DST. When paper comes from these facilities, one full page would be only name of authors. Okay, so my suggestion to you is, now what happens when you are looking at international collaborations? Expectation at different age is different. When you are a student, you are looking for postdoctoral placements. And very often the complaints Indian students have, I have written to 50 professors, I haven't got a response. Why should you get a response? Tell me. How many mail comes to your Gmail, and how many of them you think they are not worth responding? It is same with European or American faculty. They receive n number of mails. So my suggestion is, if you are targeting any particular research group to join, study about their work through papers. Okay? And then question yourself, how do you fit in that group? Once you know what is your necessity to that group, write only that part to the professor. This is where you are working, and I feel this is something you are missing, and this is what my strength is. Okay. Second problem most of the European American faculty has, I am interested in your work, I don't have space in my lab, I don't have money to support. Okay, this is the second thing. So answer is, first, you should be interested in collaboration, like they should accept you in principle. And then there are n number of schemes which you could explore. So you can tell that fellow, subject to finding some fellowship which could make it easy, I think. Okay. So my suggestion to young doctoral student is, don't beg for postdoctoral placement. Prove your necessity so that they ask you that you please come and work in my lab. At faculty level, we are looking for long-term collaboration. Faculty is not interested in 3 months, 6 months. Faculty is interested in 10-year collaborations, where there could be a continuous exchange of students, so that two groups could work in sync. Okay? And here they are looking for financial models, because they have already established contacts, they know what are they working for, and they're looking for. So that is where people like us could play a role. So we would ask that you please develop your project, and once project is developed, we would make call. Our calls will come, they would be open for a couple of months. Couple of months are not good to develop projects, I tell you frankly. So if you do this preparation in advance, keep a dialogue, keep on developing proposal, because as I gave you the questions earlier, that what are things we are looking in the project, same questions are there with additional role probably, that what is going to be your share of work and what is going to be my share of work. That's it. All other questions are same. We are looking for scientific novelty, we are looking for capable worker, we know that what are the questions we are going to answer. Same thing. So please keep on. If you find a potential co-worker in any part of the world, you are encouraged to check with us what are the programs we are having with that country, and also when the next call for proposal is likely to come. Now, we are also, as a part of technology diplomacy, offering several solutions, and this is where again I would like university management to think of, that we are offering infrastructure development, organization of summer winter school, training school, faculty development to our neighborhood, to Asian region, to African regions, as a goodwill measure, how India could help them. And once they get connected to your institution, they get connected for lifelong until one of the party decides to part away. So these are very good tools to develop international connect. In fact, now a lot of organizations, including premier organizations like IIT, ISC, they are looking for internationalization. And this is where they could get a very good help through this thing. Now coming to last part of my thing, what are the new focus in the department? We are working on cyber physical system, we are working on electric mobility, quantum science, cleaner fuels, and high resolution maps. So this is how we would like to answer most of our newer challenges. A lot of new money is going to be put in these 5 areas. We have recently introduced scientific social responsibility, and this is something like corporate social responsibility. So like corporate is expected to share part of their profit, we are asking each one of us to share our knowledge to those who are not aware about science. So how you could share this knowledge, and then we are going to promote in a big way incubations, going to promote in a big way our school program for this thing. Lot of stress on science communication, science channel we have started, AWSAR. Also we have started this portal. So if any of you comes up even with a small success, I would ask you to put a story on this portal, because this will give your work better visibility. And then Wikipedia, we have already, I mentioned about it. So with this, I would like to close, and I'm open to your questions. Thank you.
So as we talked about targeted programs, so these calls, let's say on water initiative, does it come every year?
Easy calls are normally open round the year. You can go and visit our website, and we have already listed out several water related challenges. Yeah, so you can identify those challenges where you could contribute and something. And then of course international collaboration also we are open in water sector. So with several countries in US, Canada, several European countries, we are working on this.
So you say except Vajra and some, most of them are actually for private universities.
Yes, yes. Vajra and imprints
Vajra.
from DST family.
Yeah, please. Talk about the specialty works in drugs. So
Mhm.
Sorry, that is just for the Newton Bhava Fellowship.
Which fellowship?
Newton Bhava.
Newton Baba Fellowship, yeah.
We offer this for the only for the ASEAN Fellow or the Innovation and Entrepreneurship.
Newton Baba Fellowship is open to everyone. In fact, it is at various levels. So it is at mid-career level and it is at youngster level. Youngster means doctoral, postdoctoral level. And mid-career means up to 40 years, 45 years it is open. So whatever you would like to call. So at senior level it is called Newton Advanced Fellowship and otherwise it is just called Newton Baba.
For the UK and Japan, I think it's only the slide.
No, actually I put that slide in a context. It's called Overseas Visiting Doctoral Fellowship. So PhD placement you may say. Right now with 3 countries, US, UK, Japan.
Sir, is there any scheme for other disciplines like arts and humanities and
Unfortunately, since I work for Department of Science and Technology, so we are not having many schemes for them, but we are studying the impact of technology on society, and I said that we would like to provide our society some solutions, technology solutions. So those kind of things we could consider.
Is there any bar with the different type of schemes? How many schemes we can apply at the same time?
Normally, it is expected that you grow up gradually. Initially, you should have one project at a time. Once you have completed that, going to next stage, either go for a bigger project or go for a couple of projects. Because if you keep on increasing your project number, you need to see that how you will remain focused. Because being focused is more important than more number of projects. And if you are focused, even one project you do, but you do of higher value.
And can we approach the review response if you are getting the reverse response?
No, actually, what is happening that these days, most of the time you get a response from the computer. So they will not give you solution, but it is your right to get response of the reviewer if you are not satisfied.
Like for the one for doctoral research, I have applied for the environmental based system.
Fine. You see, I'll tell you. For example, we are offering 500 postdoctoral fellowship every year. Now, 500 postdoctoral fellowship, if we divide number of discipline we are covering, so each discipline may not get more than 50. Now divide it across the country, then it becomes very competitive.
In some place, I got a response from one of the year that was saying that the applicant has no expertise in the nanotechnology based system. My PhD is on the same system. I got more than 30 publications on the nano system.
Yeah.
I don't know why they just put that response.
No, actually, this is reviewer perception because he or she may not be satisfied with the kind of output. You might have worked in that area, but your output in terms of papers or patents may not.
Just saying there is no expertise.
So expertise means that you have entered a field and you become expert. You have to prove yourself. And that prove you can do only through initially through papers, patents, and then with the solutions which are deployed at grassroots. So it is again highly discretionary, and reviewers are not God. They are people like you and me. How other fellow perceives your work.
It is not like that because I have with them. Even in DST, one reviewer had given a wrong impression. I told them they get it a second review and I got it clear. So
Yeah.
it happens.
So if you are not satisfied, you can always protest.
So my work is on metabolic segment. I have worked on RX, but I want to switch my research on the geography. So can I apply for that?
No, you can switch, but that switch should be gradual. First, you should work in collaboration with an expert working in Jabra.
like I don't have any expertise.
That is what I'm saying, that you work in collaboration, you work in a team with a fellow who is expert in that domain. And once you have published couple of papers jointly with that fellow in that domain,
The criteria is jointly to have some kind of.
it's not a criteria. We would like to see your previous background in that area. That is important. So if you are not published, so we are not confident that you can deliver. Okay, so it is very important that you prove that yes, I can deliver. Any?
So one thing that in the first proposal, so apart from index of the department, what else do you consider?
No. H index is a separate criteria, but we are looking for a collective proposal from the department of a university, where department would like to focus in next 5 to 10 years. So it has to be a research proposal, which is heavy on scientific equipment.
But what you will be looking at?
So we are looking at number of students in your department, number of faculty in your department, what is the faculty strength, how, what are the scientific output of the department in last few years.
So under first, can two departments be jointly?
No, we are not considering that for the universities, but for colleges we are considering.
Do you want the solution? Because do you correlate these with NAC expeditions or something like that?
We are trying to have it. It's not connected right now, but eventually things. Yeah.
So means sometimes it happens in many places. Now it's started in some places that they want to MOU with the NAC.
Yeah.
So the people have not taken NAC so seriously,
Yeah.
and they have done a good kind of research work or science.
Yeah.
But they are not able to do so. That's why.
So actually, these parameters will keep evolving. Like now, we have got one independent parameter, H index.
Yeah.
So if your H index is worth this much, you come and take the grant. So similarly, we can come up in future once we reach an understanding that if you are not grading this, then you are eligible for this thing automatically.
It's basically about proving your work.
Yeah.
Is the outcome,
Yeah.
positive outcome and
You see,
ability.
it's like that we are also answerable to the government. Return on investment, simple.
So for TARE, is there any easy way out so that we can collaborate with the female students?
No, one is this fellowship. Also at student level, we are having visiting scientist fellowship, which is provided by academies. So all three academies jointly, they also support 3-month visit. Okay, of course, remuneration may not be as high as this, but that is another program which I am aware of. Then certain institutions offer from themselves. So like DSC institution is there, Jawaharlal Nehru Centre for Advanced Scientific Research, which offers summer internship for faculty. So it's an independent program also. But I was telling about the program we are offering from Technology
So,
Government.
the main most problem, the biggest problem for the young people is that they are not able to get the, foreign collaboration so easily. So they write and everything. So there is some kind of guidance from your institution for these kind of things?
Sir, actually it becomes too difficult. It is something like your marriage proposal. You can suggest a potential partner, but whether that fellow will gel with you or not. So we could probably broadly indicate, okay, you are working in this domain, these are probably workers, but then this is full of ocean. It has to be a personal rapport between the two.
Sir, can you give us any suggestions regarding how we can decide budget? Because if a researcher is applying first time, already applying first time.
No.
Initial budget.
No, you have to be realistic, and that is where role of mentorship plays a role. You can consult with senior faculty, and if you are not comfortable with your senior faculty, come with whomsoever you are comfortable. Okay, it has to be realistic. Okay, it should not be cutting too fine so that you are just feeling uncomfortable with the available resources, and it should not be too heavy. You should know what is the research I am going to do, what is that I need. Plan it accordingly. Some scheme will come with monetary capping also. They will say that up to this size. Yeah.
And so DST also looking for that in-house facility of university, what you already have.
Yes. Yeah. Whenever we are giving any infrastructure support, we are asking whether your university has it already or not. That is the preconditions. Yeah.
So, can we change the template of I have applied for the SIRE scheme. So can you change the template like for endorsement letter?
I couldn't get your questions.
There are proper template given by the DSP for the
Yeah.
letter of endorsement.
No, actually, you see, purpose of any template or any format is easy comparison with others. Because under any scheme, n number of people would have applied. And when referees are comparing proposal 1 to proposal 2, if they are in same format, it is easy for them. If you make a change in format or template, then it causes difficulty or maybe a kind of irritation to the referees.
Actually, there is a mention that during the visit to the other industry, you will not avail the that you will be given salary from the institution. So in that I have changed that I will not avail the salary for doing that visit. So is it okay or?
I can't comment on specific because I don't know which scheme you are talking about. SIRE. Okay. But why you will not charge salary? Who will pay you salary?
Like from the monthly salary that you will
No, that is the expenditure over there. I am not sure if you are doing right if you are not charging your employer, because it is not only a privilege to you, it is also a privilege to the employer, because department also gets richer when you come back with your experience working in overseas environment. And because eventually whatever you have learned there, you will pass it on to your students, your colleagues.
Otherwise, they don't have given us the lack of endorsement.
You can meet me, it's not a problem. For us.
Yeah, anyone from this side probably? No question from this
Sir, you have mentioned in one of your slides, less enrolled institute will get extra credits. What are they?
No, actually, why I was telling you that I would not like to compare your university with a central university like Delhi University or JNU, which are very well endowed. Even the expectation from you would be different than a professor in that system. Okay, so what we are trying to do is, when we are taking the going for the result process, we are trying to balance. So its scientific merit is say 80 to 90%. But then we are looking for geographic balance, gender balance, age balance.
So there are very less schemes for the above 40.
No, all schemes are there. Except you may say this startup research grant or JRF, SRF, everything is open for above 40.
In the TARE grant, do you have a previous funding?
Which one? TARE. No, there in TARE we are giving you up to period is of course between your employer and the host institutions. But taking a broad calculation for 90 days, we are giving you some support so that you can survive. So 60,000 rupees for 3 months, 20,000 rupees a month. It is basically your whatever money you say, casual money. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for your elaborate discussion on various funding opportunities, fellowships available, vision and focus of DST, merits required to be eligible to apply for various projects and schemes. Thank you. Your knowledge and thoughts have truly inspired us. Now, I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to please facilitate the speaker, Professor S.K. Varshney.